headlines. Phinsiling detects 3 community cases from drivers who transport essentials from the mini dry port to Sorchin. The National Referral Hospital say there is enough oxygen cylinders in the country. And license renewal for entertainment centers and tourism-related business exempted until 2023. Kuzampo, you're watching BBS News with Nupupkam. 3 drivers who transport essentials goods from the mini dry port in Phinsiling to Sorchin tested positive for COVID-19 today. This comes after nearly 30 loaders from the MDP started showing symptoms and were taken for a test yesterday.
The mini dry port now remains closed. Along with the several loaders from the mini dry port, samples of 103 drivers who entered the Phinsiling MDP were tested yesterday, of which 3 drivers tested positive. With this, the import of essential items was suspended for a time being. However, since all loaders of the MDP tested negative, the import of essential items is likely to resume from tomorrow. The second round of mass screening in Phinsiling, which was supposed to begin tomorrow, has also been postponed for now. This is as per the advice from the Technical Advisory Group, since positive cases are still being detected from the community. As per the plan, an individual from every household in the COVID-19 free zones and 2 individuals from every household in the red zone area were supposed to be tested in the 3-day-long mass screening. The phase-wise relaxations of lockdown in Phinsiling began on Wednesday. The third lockdown for 18 days was imposed on April 16th. Restricted movement in certain places is still allowed, but people are asked to stay home. For Sonam Penjo in Phinsiling, this is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
The Sandupjonkar town was supposed to lift the 3-day lockdown today, but with increasing COVID-positive cases, the town may not reopen anytime soon. After a 36-year-old woman from the police colony tested positive last week, 9 more tested positive until today. 2 are community cases.
The husband and the daughter of the woman tested positive early this morning. The husband is a policeman. The daughter is a class 7 student at Samdupjonkar Middle Secondary School. 2 other policemen also tested positive, one during a mass screening and the other is a primary contact. More than 2,000 individuals were tested during the 5-day mass screening that ended yesterday. Nearly 150 contacts have been traced. It is learnt that earlier last month, the husband went to Phinsiling to repair a police vehicle and returned through Indian Highway 5 days later, but he tested negative then. All primary contacts are in quarantine facilities and secondary contacts are home quarantined. Given the high number of students identified as close contacts, the lockdown will not be lifted immediately. But there are plans to reopen in a phase-wise manner. For Kiloancho in Samdupjonkar, Sangishizom for BBS News.
Now with this, Bhutan recorded 20 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. All are Bhutanis. Phinsiling alone detected 17 new cases, of which 6 are frontline workers, 3 community cases and 8 are contacts of previous cases. And rest 3 cases are contacts of previous cases in Samdupjonkar. Meanwhile, 22 individuals recovered in the last 24 hours. Hotels in Galifutomde used as quarantine centers have not received water for days. Facing severe water shortage, hoteliers are struggling to provide a good service today.
Hotel owners in Galifu are facing an acute shortage of water as most taps in their hotels run dry. Receiving constant complaints on shortage of water, hoteliers in Galifu who are providing the quarantine services are exploring various ways to solve the matter. Some of them collect water from the nearby water sources available, while some even rely upon their friends for the supply of water to their hotels.
There's no water supply since Tuesday. Water shortage could be due to the monsoon rainfall damaging the water sources. But people who are in the quarantine in our hotels do not understand that. They complain on the matter time and again. we are facing a severe water shortage.
The people in quarantine grumble about the insufficient water supply. They say that there is no enough water for toilets and bathrooms. Likewise, we are managing water from nearby places for cooking.
Meanwhile, the Gilifut Tromde officials said that the shortage of water could be due to the insufficient flow of water into the Mauchu infiltration gallery and water treatment plant. Moreover, they added the water treatment plant is consuming more time in the filtration and purification process. Even after the filtration and purification of water, it is further treated and pumped into another reservoir tank located at Thung village in Gilipur Gewak, which is about 5 kilometers away from the water treatment plant. The current water shortage issue has also disrupted the timely supply of water in the town. The Gilifut Tromde supplies water 2 times a day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. For Kamawandi in Sarbang, Ishtoji, BBS News.
The National Referral Hospital has 1,200 oxygen cylinders in stock to make sure it doesn't run out of supply. This is in keeping with the increasing number of COVID-19 positive cases in the neighboring countries. Globally, the COVID-19 pandemic has increased global oxygen demand and made the delivery of oxygen supplies more urgent than ever.
The medical superintendent of the National Referral Hospital said, from over 20 COVID-19 positive patients in the isolation ward in Thimphu today, none are on oxygen. He added, in the event of an outbreak within the country, there is no problem with the supply of oxygen cylinders.
We have adequate oxygen cylinders which can, be used to provide oxygen to the patients. In addition to cylinders, we also have around 26 oxygen concentrators, and also our oxygen comes from Pasaka, Pinsuling, so it's not from India. So it's quite safe for us since the oxygen plant is within Bhutan.
The National Referral Hospital procures oxygen every 2 to 3 days from the 2 oxygen plants in Pasaka and Gelifu. The hospital uses 76 oxygen cylinders every day and approximately 7 million newton worth of oxygen cylinders every year. Oxygen is an essential medicine used to care for patients at all levels of the healthcare system, including surgery, heart failure, pneumonia, and maternal and child care, among others. According to the WHO, 15% of COVID-19 patients require medical oxygen because of breathing difficulties. Sunampem for BBS News.
The Thimphu District Court held the evidence hearing of the 4 defendants involved in the case concerning the alleged commission of criminal conspiracy, mutiny, abetting mutiny and other criminal offences today. Besides restricting media to attend the hearing, the court refused to share any documents or information on the hearing. The OAG charged defendant Khandu Ogmo with abetting mutiny and other criminal offences. The allegedly colluded with Supreme Court Justice Kiletsring and Pamagasal Tangpanisha Doji to help former RBG Commandant Brigadier Tiletopke in the mutiny to overthrow the Army's Chief Operations Officer. The Supreme Court conducted the opening hearing of the case involving the former Home Minister Tashu Sherab Galson and 4 RICB officials today. The defendants appealed to the Supreme Court last month after the larger bench of the High Court upheld the High Court's judgment convicting all of them. Tashu Sherab Galson was convicted of claiming false vehicle insurance worth more than 200,000 ngitam from the RICB in 2016.
The former Home Minister was represented by his lawyer. The defendant said it was not a false insurance claim. The insurance amount was released by the RICB as per the estimation made by the State Trading Corporation. But the Office of Attorney General accused the defendants of backdating the insurance policy. However, they stated that the software used for the general insurance business is outsourced abroad and the RICB can't backdate the transaction. The OAG also accused them of manipulating the intimation letter. But the Dasho's lawyer explained that the intimation was done over the phone, which is valid and legitimate as per the company's claims manual. According to the defendants, the conviction from the lower courts was based on Dasha Sharaf Gelson's statement to the ACC, which didn't mention the location of the accident. But they said the commission overlooked RICB's former executive director's statement that mentioned the accident location. Therefore, the former executive director and 3 other RICB officials stated that evidence on the case and experts' opinion on the entire business process were not taken into consideration. Instead, only contradictory, unsubstantiated, and vague statements from various sources were used as a basis for conviction. The lower courts sentenced the former Home Minister to 2 months in prison for falsely claiming vehicle insurance, and the RICBL officials, including former ED, were sentenced from 1 month to 1 year in prison. With additional information from Pema Sring, Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
With more than a decade of urban planning experience for the country's biggest and fastest developing Thomde, Thimputompe-elect Ugendoji says that experience would help him take on the new role with a clear vision. The Thompe-elect won the recent Thomde election, which saw him face stiff competition, especially from the former Thompe Kilidoji.
The Thompe-elect says accelerating the ongoing public infrastructure projects within the Thomde would be his immediate task after joining the office. About 50 to 60 projects such as road and sewerage rehabilitations are underway in the Thomde.
To improve the system that is transparent, accountable and sustainable, so that no individual should feel that they are indispensable for the job. The road widening and connecting road is almost not possible. Looking at the geographical condition and looking at the city, I would improve the public transport, and also increase the bus facilities.
Also realizing the mounting pressure the Thomde faces in terms of delivering effective public services, the Thompe-elect wants to digitize these services.
I'm talking about digitization of the facilities. For example, water network, the sewerage network, all those has to be digitized so that we know the problems that is actually happening in and around the city, so that we can fix and facilitate in a better manner.
Aware of problems such as a lack of community vitality, erratic water supply, and the housing crunch plaguing the capital city, he is looking forward to addressing them.
If you might have gone through my pages, I think it is very inclusive. And it is already included there, where I talked about having Demkhung offices in every location, where I talk about making the services transparent, accountable, and it should be equitable. So that kind of approach will improve all those sectors.
For now, he waits to officially take over the responsibility of the city's mayor and translate his vision of making Thimphu Thomde a well-coordinated and sustainable city into a reality. Pemal Hadan, BBS News.
The entertainment centres, along with tourism and travel-related businesses, will not have to renew their licenses until 2023. This is because of the impact of the pandemic on their businesses since the first COVID case in March last year. The Economic Affairs Ministry issued a notification last week.
No songs and dances have been performed in these entertainment centres since March last year. The entertainment centres and travel-related businesses continue to struggle, paying high rents and no source of income are some of the main hardships they are facing today. And Dryungs pay 25,000 yutam every year for license renewal. There are some 200 Dryungs and karaokes in the country. And they don't have to pay that for 2 years now, but it comes with bittersweet circumstances.
It is a reason to feel happy. On the other hand, we feel that our businesses will remain closed till 2023, which is worrisome. Everybody knows that we are facing difficulty paying the rents, and there is not a single owner who has waived 100% of the rent. So we are still at a loss.
But he said the notification should have come earlier.
We feel that the ministry has delayed notifying the public since some of the license holders received calls from trade that they have to renew their licenses or else they will have to bear the penalties this year. So, most of them have renewed it. Therefore, we don't know whether that amount will be refunded or not.
The businesses were to open eventually, but increasing cases in the country and the region have changed the situation now.
For 2021, yes, some of them might have renewed in January, February, that renewal for 2021 will be treated as renewal for 2023, so that those who have already renewed will not have to again pay fees and renew in 2023. Same will be treated as for 2023 because we have already announced that for 2021 and 2022 we have deferred. Therefore, they should not worry, and those who have renewed, it's good that they have renewed, but we'll treat this renewal as renewal for 2023.
But if the situation improves and businesses resume before 2023, they will have to renew their licenses as usual. Kinsang Haden for BBS News.
A reminder of the headlines. Phinsiling detects 3 community cases in drivers who transport essentials from the mini dry port to Sorchen. The National Referral Hospital say there is enough oxygen cylinders in the country. And the license renewal for entertainment centers and tourism-related business exempted until 2023. That's all we have for you from the newsroom. For updates, do visit our website at bbs.bt. We are also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. Thank you for watching.